honoring the capacity you actually have. Welcome to your daily hit of grace and grit, your quick dose of inspiration to kickstart your day. This show is proudly sponsored by Rumble and Rise. To find out more about joining Rumble and Rise, head on over to graceandgrit.com/ready to rumble. I'm Courtney Townley, and here is today's hit. Most women I work with carry this quiet belief that seems innocent enough that they have more capacity than they actually do. That sounds like a good thing, right? They believe they have more energy than they do, more patience than they do, more bandwidth than they do, more strength, just more. And the problem with that is they tend to override, overpush, overhustle. They force themselves through a lot of things because they're not being honest about their capacity. And look, yes, on occasion, overriding, pushing through, hustling harder, it's a part of being human. Sometimes life just demands it. But when pushing and forcing becomes the way you live instead of the exception, well, your health is eventually going to send you a bill for that, right? Because you've overdrawn your account. One of the most important concepts that I explore in my book, The Consistency Code, is the concept of honoring your actual capacity. We're trained to organize our lives around questions like, what's on my schedule? What needs to get done? What can I produce today? But almost no one pauses to ask the most important question of all, which is, what do I realistically have capacity for today? And because enough of us aren't asking that question, what happens is we tend to way overfill our schedules and wonder why we're feeling so depleted and reactive all the time. So what do I realistically have the capacity for today is not the capacity that you wish you had, not the capacity that would make you feel like Superwoman, not the capacity you think you should have because yesterday you had it, but the capacity that you really, truly, actually have right here, right now, on this very day. And a capacity check-in is really pretty simple, but it's radical because very few people do it. It's literally a 10-second moment where you turn towards yourself instead of away. Before you look at your schedule, you go inward. Maybe you place a hand on your chest or your belly, you take a slow breath, and you simply ask yourself, where is my energy today? How is my mental clarity? How is my emotional bandwidth, my mental bandwidth? What is already claiming space on my plate today? And what is going to be the true cost of not practicing constraint, of just continuing to pile on more? And look, practicing constraint, pulling back, doing less is never about weakness. It isn't about talking yourself out of growth. It's about making sure your growth is sustainable. If you've been in the grace and grit world for a minute, you have heard me say probably over and over again that self-care does not always look the same. Self-care on a high-capacity day might look like a full workout, a productive morning, a beautifully structured to-do list in which, you check most of the boxes for the day. Self-care on a low-capacity day might look like giving yourself permission to shorten the workout or do some C+ or B- work, or admitting that what you actually need most tonight is sleep. Every time you honor your true capacity, you protect your ability to be consistent with your self-care, with your self-honoring. And that's the part we forget. We think that by saying no or not today is a failure or a cop-out, but often that's exactly what keeps you in the game long enough to see the results that you want. I've seen that image thrown around Instagram a lot, which is so brilliant, where it kind of illustrates that consistency is not having the same capacity every day. Like some days you're going to have 100% to give and you're going to give 100%. But some days you're going to only have 30% to give. And if you give 30%, that's still 100%, right? 30% of 30% is all in. So today, I want you to practice checking in with your true capacity at least once. So before you say yes, before you add one more thing to your to-do list, before you abandon yourself in the name of being productive, just pause, check in, and ask yourself what you truly have capacity for. Without judgment, without comparison, then let that answer steer you towards your next move. This is self-leadership in real time, right? This is really the heart and the essence of the consistency code, is meeting ourselves where we're at, truly, and determining what self-care looks like from that space. And that is how you build a life that you don't have to recover from, and a life in which you can consistently honor your needs. If this stirred something inside of you, imagine what a whole book of clarity and courage could ignite. The Consistency Code, A Midlife Woman's Guide to Deep Health and Happiness, goes even deeper into the mindset and practices that create real, meaningful change at midlife. Grab your copy today over at theconsistencycode.com and keep the momentum alive.